Mike, for 20 years, you've shared information online about legal victories, new laws, but less about what happens in a law firm behind the scenes from a business perspective. Why open about it now?
Well, as you know, we've been working together almost for 20 years and a leading firm in Israel. And then 10 years ago, we opened our own firm. And I love being a lawyer. Being a lawyer is fun. We did exciting things together. We saw actual precedents that we helped to determine through petitions we submitted, also in the Supreme Court, in the district courts. And it's exciting and fun, and it's fun to share about it. Since we opened the business together, we grew very fast. And we reached the point where we employed 70 workers. Our growth rate was 20% a year. We have two branches, one in Tel Aviv and the other one in Jerusalem. But no one likes to talk about the darker sides. And to be honest, with the very quick growth, at least from my perspective, we totally lost control over what's happening in the actual office. And as long as there was growth and the income was above the expenses, everything felt fine. And the income was pretty high. So the bottom line, very small profit, was okay. But once the growth stopped and the income started going down, we found ourselves in trouble. And this is more or less what I would like to share about and talk about. And I think learning from mistakes is the best way to learn. And if viewers can not make the mistakes we made and succeed without the pain, that's even better.
Most people would assume that a growing firm is also a successful firm. What do you have to say about that?
Well, from personal experience, I can totally testify that that's not necessarily the case. Even not at all. Because if we look at our numbers, for example, on the one hand, our growth was pretty amazing, at least from my perspective and from where I came from. I would never have imagined when we started the firm that in 10 years we would generate income of 121 million shekels. If you look at only that number, that's a phenomenal success. But then when you compare that to our expenses, and our expenses were 120 million shekels, that's almost like a phenomenal failure in many ways. And so the bottom line is that we were basically just dragging a very big business and a very big operation, but we totally lost control with our internal expenses and what our workers were doing, and we were just adding and adding more workers to deal with all the cases that were being closed to make sure we're giving good service to clients. And even that wasn't always the solution, just to add more expenses to give good service. So in the end of the day, no, the answer is no. Just to have a huge operation doesn't mean it's successful. It has to be a combination of also very strong sales pipeline in the law office, but on the same side, also very good management and control over what happens inside the firm.
So, what led you to the idea to open this new YouTube channel?
Well, the channel is, I opened it because of the system that we created. We basically created a system with a direct investment of over 2 million shekels already, and an indirect investment of millions more, just as it relates to our time that we invested in it, in a smart system to basically operate the law office. And within the system, we basically inserted hundreds and thousands of business tips that were learned from mistakes we made. Some were very big mistakes we made, and while we did this, I thought it would be also nice to share all our business ideas and business tips in a channel, also to create awareness regarding the system we developed, but also just to share our insights on business tips for managing a law office.
So what kind of value can viewers expect to receive on a daily basis by watching the videos?
I think the value will be great because in the end of the day, a lot of these tips are based on failures that we made and on mistakes. And I think that learning from a mistake is and a value that's created after making a mistake, those are usually the best ideas. And to reach those ideas without going through the suffering of the mistake, I think is a huge advantage. I think viewers that will watch our tips here can definitely benefit from these episodes.
And will this benefit be specifically for lawyers, or can also other viewers benefit?
Well, the system itself, because we're a law office, was really, really focused on the management of a law office. Both when it comes to increasing sales and income, but also when it comes to controlling what happens within your firm. So in the end of the day, the firm can be left with a profit. The system itself is focused on law offices, but the tips and the business tips are relevant for anyone. And I think that anyone with a business will definitely be able to benefit a lot from the business tips we'll be giving here.
So far, you've talked a lot about management and workflow, but how does the system actually help increase the revenue?
So yeah, as I said in the beginning, that's our success, I guess, is where our failure was because all our focus in the beginning was in closing deals and in creating revenue. Because when you start a business, you need basically the cash flow to run things and to pay expenses and to rent property and then to bring more workers. And that was the main focus from the beginning. So when it comes to creating revenue, in the beginning, when we started to develop the system, we were only focused on that. So for the first 3 years of creating a smart system, we were focused on creating the best legal pipelines possible, how to evaluate leads in a good way, how to define a lead that's high quality and compared to a lead with much less quality. And we did that a lot. So a lot of this system is focused on creating revenue. That's, again, exactly where our failure was because of our focus that was targeted on creating revenue. We basically decided just to employ many, many people to handle all the work that was brought into the firm. And that's where we found ourselves with huge expenses and very small profit margins. And that's why the other half of our time in developing the office was basically in creating an office where we have control over everything that's happening within our office. So the system basically deals with both aspects, and also the business tips will be dealing with both aspects.
So finally, for viewers that have stayed with us so far, what is your golden recommendation for them to do?
My golden recommendation is to learn from mistakes, meaning not to make these mistakes yourself. And if you hear us uh, sharing about a mistake we made and the pain we had to go through because of this mistake and how we learned from it, try only to learn from it without going through the process of the mistake and the pain. That's a very good idea.